Hello, welcome to Levant TV Headlines. British Prime Minister David Cameron met with Syrian refugees in Lebanon who will resettle into Britain and vowed to continue his country's support for Lebanese troops fighting the extremists of the Islamic State group. 5 Saudi soldiers were killed near the border with Yemen, the Saudi press agency said late on Sunday, while a Saudi-led military coalition began an offensive to drive Houthi militia forces out of Yemen's energy-rich province of Marib. Egyptian security forces have mistakenly killed 12 people, including Mexican tourists, while chasing jihadists in the country's vast western desert, drawing condemnation and calls for an investigation from Mexico. EU member states have approved plans for military action against people smugglers in the Mediterranean, seizing and destroying boats to break up networks operating out of Libya. And Iran's President Hassan Rouhani sent greetings to the Jewish people on the occasion of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. And now let's have a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting from the UAE, the Khalij Times leads reporting that at least 34 people, amongst them 15 babies and children, drowned when their overcrowded boat capsized in high winds off a Greek island on Sunday, the latest migrant tragedy at sea. The paper also reports that Muslims clashed with Israeli police at Jerusalem's flashpoint of Al-Aqsa Mosque compound on Sunday, hours before the start of the Jewish New Year, the latest violence over access to the site sacred to both faiths. From Beirut, the Daily Sali is reporting that visiting British Prime Minister David Cameron Monday revealed that his country would offer an additional £60 million, which is $90 million, to educate Syrian refugees and impoverished children in Lebanon over the next 3 years. The paper also reports that Transportation Minister Ghazi Zaitar raises concerns about the effects of trash runoff as the rainy season in Lebanon approaches, with civil society groups rejecting the implementation of a waste management plan approved by the cabinet. The Egypt Independent is reporting that Egyptian security forces killed 12 Mexicans and injured Egyptians, and 10 by accident were injured on Monday, mistaking a tourist convoy for militants they were chasing in the country's western desert. The paper also reports that Muslims and Israeli police clashed at Jerusalem's flashpoint Al-Aqsa Mosque compound for a second straight day on Monday, prompting at least 3 people arrests. And now let's have a look at the top headlines in UK papers. The Guardian leads reporting that bombing Islamic State targets in Syria will keep Britain's streets safe and strengthen the international campaign in Iraq. Michael Fallon, the Defense Secretary, has said as the government tries to pave the way for Parliament to authorize airstrikes. White House sources said the government expects to hold a parliamentary vote early next month to seek approval to widen Royal Air Force strikes from Iraq into Syria. And the Independent is reporting that Libya's rival governments have reached a consensus on the main elements of a political agreement. The UN Special Envoy told reporters. Bernardino Leon said in Shkirat, Morocco, that the two sides were able to overcome their differences on major outstanding issues, increasing the likelihood of signing a long-awaited agreement to form a unity government this month. The Guardian leads reporting that hundreds of thousands of refugees from the Syrian civil war have been discouraged from risking their lives to travel to Europe by British aid totaling £1 billion sterling, which has helped fund refugee camps in the region. Mr. David Cameron has said as he visited Lebanon, the Home Secretary Theresa May prepared to tell EU interior ministers at a meeting in Brussels that the EU should not set quotas for refugees. And now let's have a look at international papers. From Berlin, the Deutsche Welle reports that several people have been detained after Palestinian youth and Israeli police clashed near the Al-Aqsa Mosque for the second consecutive day. Clashes broke out over a ban on 2 Muslim civilian groups who patrol the mosque area, with police saying they entered the site to ensure that Muslim youth did not harass Jews or tourists. And finally, the International New York Times reports that Egyptian security forces opened fire on a caravan of tourist vehicles in the country's western desert late Sunday night, killing at least 12 people visiting from Mexico and injuring 10 others. The security forces said that they had believed the vehicles were being used to transport terrorists. That was it for today. For more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.